What is up, ladies and gents? It's your boy Jermaine Event, Main on MMA, and today we are checking out this video from MMA Friction about our boy Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. The fight is this Saturday, ladies and gents. I'm hyped. We can finally see what happens in this fight. All right, long overdue matchup. Long overdue. Let's see what MMA Friction has to say about what really happens between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev. And if you guys have not went over to Calf Kick Sports and saw our prediction video for UFC 313, head on over there and I'll try to add a link in this video as well.
If you watch my videos for a long time, you would notice that I would put, oh, it won't be close, or it will be close, or this fighter will win, etc. If you notice that this video says predictions for once, because for once, I am tied in the middle. I am scared regardless of who wins because I have no idea who's going to win this fight. I'm going to break it down, obviously, and I have my pick biasly, but am I confident on that person? No, not exactly. And I'm not going to lie, this is a big fight, man. Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. This fight just screams aura, and I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit scared. One side is saying that this will be an easy fight for Alex, and guess what? The same people are saying the same thing on the other side about Magomed Ankalaev. This is the first time Alex Pereira is facing a well-rounded fighter, so the odds are pretty even. Last I checked, I could have sworn it was...
I like that red beard. That's random. He's got the black hair up top. Like, I never noticed his beard is red. It's pretty interesting.
Anyways, I'm going to go with Alex Pereira to beat Magomed Ankalaev. Like I said earlier, I'm not the most confident in this pick, but I think he gets it done. I think Alex Pereira wins this fight, and I have my reasons. One of the biggest reasons is actually something I haven't really talked about before. While looking at Ankhalaev's fights,
Is that a natural thing? You see right there at the sideburns, it shifts from like black to red. Like right there in the middle of his face. Is this natural? Is this natural?
Back to his fight against Thiago Santos, where he got dropped, and what was it by? A left hand strike. Why? Because Magomed...
Like, what if my bald hair was just, I don't know, blonde? You know what I'm saying? What if it was just blonde? Like my body hair was blonde, but the hair on my head is black. Like, I don't know. Is this natural? Is this natural?
Magomed Ankalaev drops his right hand every time he throws his own left. Magomed Ankalaev has a habit of leaving his right hand down, and I've seen him get countered with hooks over and over again. The thing is, the guys he's fought...
I think he's about to get knocked out. He's got good striking, but he gets hit. He can get hit. He was getting touched up by Rakic early in that fight. If Alex is able to touch him like Rakic was able to touch him in the first round, I don't think it's going to be a good day for Magomed Ankalaev.
Just don't have the same hook of Alex Pereira. They don't have the same setup, the same precision, or the same timing. Now, to be fair, this isn't some massive glaring weakness. It's not like a Jamal Hill level issue where his lead hand is consistently low, but Ankhalaev does have tendencies to extend his lead hand a lot, to feint, to poke and prod at his opponents. But because of that, he gets countered a lot. I mean, Alexander Rakic was catching him with the left hook in that same opening. And I truly believe at some point in this fight, especially when Ankalaev starts getting pressured and backs up, his lead hand is going to drop. And Pereira is going to land that counter left hook for the knockout. And that's the thing about this matchup. We already know what happens when Pereira finds that shot. But I'm not here to be biased. I'm here to be fair as possible. So yes, Ankalaev does have the habit of dropping his right hand down. But if we're going to break this down fairly, we have to talk about Pereira's biggest issue on the feet, which is straight shots. Pereira has never had great defense against straight punches. Southpaw,
because he keeps his hands kind of like
success landing on him. Even going back to the glory days, guys with sharp left hands were able to touch him, crack him. In the UFC, Adesanya cracked him with the right straight before knocking him out cold. Yuri Prochazka, despite being wild, was landing clean lefts on him before he got finished. And here's where it gets interesting. Ankhalaev's best weapon just happens to be his left straight. If you actually go back and watch his fight, when he's patient and disciplined, that shot is money. He doesn't need to overextend. He doesn't need to get into wild exchanges. If he just plays it smart, keeps it technical, and sticks that straight down the middle, he can give Pereira some real problems. Because let's be real, Pereira isn't exactly a defensive genius, but if Ankhalaev doesn't bite on the counters and instead times him down the middle, what then happens?
Yo, I like Pereira, but when I would watch him fight Izzy, his defense is kind of wild. He stands square, and he has his hands like out like this, trying to dare you to come forward because he's a great counter striker. But once Izzy starts going, he doesn't really have anything in place to block. Like, his defense is pretty low, I would say, but his offense is through the roof. So when it comes to Alex Pereira, the best defense is his offense, but he does things most people would not get away with because his offense is so great.
At the same time, Alex does have that one-shot knockout power. Even if Big Ank is consistently countering him, all Alex needs to do is one left hand to completely change the outcome of this fight. Another thing that's worth mentioning is that ever since Alex Pereira moved up to 205, his durability has been insane. We're talking about a guy who's been hit clean with some absolute bombs, shots that would put out most guys or at least have them wobbled, and he just eats them up like they're nothing. In Jan's fight, Jan landed some big overhands, clean punches that have power behind them, and Pereira just walked through them. Yuri cracked him with a few shots as well, and nothing. Pereira didn't even look phased. And keep this in mind, this is the same guy who got knocked out by Adesanya at middleweight, not because he had a bad chin, but because that weight cut was brutal on him. At 205, he looks so much durable, like his body just isn't depleted anymore. Now, some people point to that moment in the Roundtree fight where it looked like he rocked Alex, but honestly, it seemed more like he lost his balance than anything else. He wasn't stumbling around or reacting the way a hurt fighter does. If anything, it was just a slight misstep, and people ran with the idea.
Let's go back and watch that fight again.
But when you look at the actual fight footage, there's zero evidence of him being seriously hurt at light heavyweight. Now, let's say Ankhalaev starts finding his counters and landing clean shots, his sharp striking, no doubts, and he just keeps tagging Pereira throughout the fight. But the real question is, does Ankhalaev have that kind of power to really hurt Alex? Because historically, he hasn't shown that one-shot knockout power. He's only finished fighters at 205 that are like Johnny Walker and Anthony Smith. Those two guys have been stopped multiple times before. That's not to say Ankhalaev can't hurt Pereira, but based on what we've seen, Alex is probably going to be able to tank a lot of what he throws at him. Hell, Ankhalaev might even be piecing up Alex up at certain points, outlanding him, making him look slower. But the thing is with Pereira is that he just needs to land that one left hand. He doesn't need to win rounds. He doesn't need to look like the cleaner striker. He just has to find that opening once. And we've seen how that plays out time after time again. His power is different. If Ankhalaev can't put him away early, he's going to be playing with fire every second he's standing in front of Alex. However, Ank has the wrestling in his back pocket, and honestly, if he can get Alex Pereira down early, I can see him finishing the fight. Some people don't want to hear that because they look at Ankhalaev and think,
man, I got a picture of me doing that to Anthony Smith. Everybody's got a picture of that.
And yeah, he's not Habib or anything like that, but he's a solid grappler. He out-grappled Jan Blachowicz and controlled him on the ground. He was able to hold him down and land some solid shots. And let's be real, Ankalaev is just a better grappler than other guys who have taken Pereira down. He just is. Every single opponent who has attempted.
I was watching a video the other day, and because if you guys watch, go to head over to Calf Kick Sports. As a matter of fact, I think he's definitely going to try. I'm a fan of Ankalaev, and I was watching his fight with Rakic a few hours ago. What stood out to me is that with every Ankalaev fight, I'm always thinking he's going to go in and dominate with his wrestling. He never does.
Never.
He never goes in and grapples. So what makes me think this is going to be any different? He's going to strike with Alex. Yeah. All right. That's what's going to happen. That's what he. So I wanted to jump to that before I finish this video, because as I said in that, he's going to strike. And I was watching something yesterday. And they were pointing out how Magomed used to grapple quite a bit. But then he got subbed by Paul Craig. And ever since then, he relies more on the striking. So ever since he got finished with, like, on the ground when he was dominating, and then he got subbed by Paul Craig, he doesn't really seem to want to go to the ground anymore. But I'm curious if he'll feel like he has that kind of threat coming from Alex if he takes Alex down. I don't think he should be worried that Alex is going to be able to sub him. I think he'll be much more confident in using his grappling in this one. So I want to amend my prediction from the Calf Kick Sports video and say that I think he will grapple.
Attempted to take Alex Pereira on the ground, has successfully taken him down. That's just a fact. Israel Adesanya got him down. Jan Blachowicz took him down multiple times. Yuri Prohaska took him down. And that's a bit concerning when you look at a potential fight with someone like Magomed Ankalaev, who is the first true grappler that Pereira would face in MMA. Yeah, usually when a striker fights Alex, they're the one who ends up taking him down. We saw Jan do it, and Yuri do it too. And to Alex's credit, he managed to get back up, stay in the fight, and ultimately win. But with Magomed Ankalaev, it's a different story. He's not just a striker who wrestles when needed. He's the first real grappler Alex has ever faced, and that could change everything. With that being said, the one thing that stands out about Pereira's ground game is how calm he is when he gets taken down. He never panics. Go back and watch the Jan fight. Jan got him down in round 1 and immediately started working for a submission. But Pereira was able to survive, and he stopped a takedown in the next round. Same with the Yuri fight. When he got taken down, there was no desperation, no wasted energy. He stayed composed, found openings, and stood back up. That's a real improvement. And let's not forget, by the end of the Jan fight, Pereira stuffed the takedown. That's a huge sign of progress because it shows that even against a high-level guy, his takedown defense was getting better as the fight went on. It's safe to assume that since that fight, Pereira has been grinding non-stop to fix his wrestling. He knows exactly what his opponents want to do to him, and he's not the type of guy to just ignore his weaknesses. So yeah, Ankhalaev is the biggest test for Pereira in terms of grappling. He'll probably take Alex down. The real question is, can he keep him there? Because if he can't, if Pereira starts stuffing takedowns or getting back up, then it becomes a fight. And in the striking match, we already know how it usually ends with Alex. Now, of course, I'm still picking Pereira, but I'm saying it's very possible that we can see Ankhalaev working his way into dominant positions and land ground and pound and get a TKO victory. It's not that crazy. I think that could happen. However, I don't think it's going to go that direction. Another crucial factor that people seem to be forgetting too is that Ramadan could absolutely be a factor that works in Alex Pereira's favor in this fight. And here's why. Magomed Ankalaev is likely fasting, meaning from sunrise to sunset, he can't drink or eat. No water.
You know, people are like, Ramadan, he can't eat when the sun is up. Bro, honestly, is it really that hard? I don't think it's that hard. And depending on whether they're in Vegas, I mean, it's probably going to start getting dark around this type of year. Like 5 or 6? Like 5 or 6, my guy? It's not that crazy. All right. I don't think it's as crazy as people are trying to make it seem. And I think the fasting will probably help with his weight cut. That's my opinion.
No fuel, nothing to keep that body going during intense training. Even if he adjusts his schedule and trains at night, he's still missing out on proper hydration and consistent energy levels throughout the day. That kind of stress on the body over an entire month leading up to a fight that can affect endurance, recovery, and overall sharpness. Now, Ankhalaev is a professional and plenty of Muslim fighters have trained through Ramadan, but it's still a major disadvantage when facing someone like Pereira. Why? Because Pereira is the type of guy who forces you to stay dialed in for every second of that fight. If Ankhalaev is just feeling even slightly slower, even slightly more fatigued than usual, whether it's the lack of proper recovery or just overall energy dips, that could be a difference between dodging a left hook and getting put to sleep. Another thing to consider is Ankhalaev's game. You see his game plan, he's probably looking to wrestle wrestle, grind Alex out, and wear him down for over 5 rounds, but wrestling is one of the most exhausting things you can do in MMA. If his gas tank isn't 100%, and if Ramadan training hasn't left him even a little more drained than usual, that kind of high energy might not be there. We've already seen him slow down in certain fights when he couldn't control his opponents. If he's not in peak cardio wise, he could struggle to keep Pereira down. Meanwhile, Pereira is coming in fresh, fully fueled, fully hydrated, and with no restrictions on his preparations. His team knows Ankhalaev is going to try to wrestle, so they're training accordingly. The longer the fight goes, the more it favors Pereira because he doesn't need to win by decision. He just needs one shot. And if Ankhalaev starts fading, even for a moment, that's when Pereira can land something devastating. So for Alex, I think it comes down to either getting knocked out early or catching him late in the fight. That's his best path to victory. But honestly, I think this fight is still 50-50. I wouldn't be shocked.
Shout out to MMA Friction. We're going to stop it right there. This fight is 50-50, but I'm like seesaw battling with this, man. One day it's Alex, one day it's Big Ank. Alex, Big Ank. Alex, Big Ank. And right now I just lean toward Big Ank. I think he's going to wrestle. And I think he's not going to be concerned that Alex can finish him from bottom. I don't think he's going to be that worried about taking Alex down. He's not going to have that fear that he had from the Paul Craig fight. And in the videos where I've seen Alex training grappling, he's training takedowns. He's training offensive wrestling from what I've seen, and not a lot of like. In the video I was watching, he was like, I think it was Bedtime MMA, and it was like, why isn't he's like, this guy's doing all these rolls and all this other shit, and like, why aren't they just training to break away? And like, it was like I was watching him rolling and doing these weird offensive wrestling drills, and it's like, bro, don't mess around with that. Like, you're gonna get swept. All right. As I'm watching him do these weird offensive wrestling drills, I'm like, bro, you're about to get swept and beat up on the ground. But we will see. Shout out to MMA Friction. This is a really good fight. Really good fight, ladies and gents. But let me know what you guys think about it in the comment. Which way are you guys leaning? Are you team Poatin or are you team Big Ank? Let me know. Head on over to Calf Kick Sports. Give our video a like. Go give those guys, or all of us, a subscribe. Head on over to MMA Friction. Give them a like and subscribe. Let them know your boy Jermaine Event sent them or sent you. But as I said, as I'm saying, thank you guys for being here once again. As always, hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'll see you guys. When I see you guys, I'll holla.
I'm more Francis Ngannou. I be the biggest problem out of any nigga I know. A little old school, like some 45 vinyls. You niggas old dudes, what that do to the wino? I do it the commercial way, pay without the splits.